You've heard Stairway, you've heard Comfortably Numb, but what about the solos that never made the list, yet left just as many jaws on the floor? Welcome to Rock Radar, where deep cuts, forgotten solos, and legendary licks get the love they deserve. This time, we're diving into 10 criminally overlooked guitar solos from the golden age of classic rock. These aren't the usual suspects. We're talking deep cuts, underrated moments, and solos that never got radio play, but totally should have. And yes, every one of these has a killer live version you can find. So plug in, tune up, let's go. Number 10, 25 or 6-4, Chicago. You've heard the horns, but what about Terry Kath's solo? Halfway through this classic, Kath unleashes a raw, explosive lead that even Jimi Hendrix reportedly admired. It's gritty, fast, and full of heart. The man shreds like he's trying to set his fretboard on fire, channeling the emotional intensity of blues with the technical ferocity of early hard rock. Chicago, known more for its horns and soft rock ballads, wasn't expected to showcase this kind of blistering guitar work, and that's what makes it so surprising. Live footage from 1970 shows Kath ripping through the solo like he had something to prove. Spoiler, he proved it. His bandmates revered him, and his playing often brought an edge to the band's slicker production. 25 or 6-4 isn't just a catchy title, it's about the late-night struggle of songwriting. Kath channels that frustration into a solo so powerful, it became his signature. Sadly, he died in 1978, but this solo still screams his name. Number 9. Green Grass and High Tides, The Outlaws. If Freebird had a brother with more soul and twin guitars, this would be it. Green Grass and High Tides is a southern rock epic that closes with a 5-minute guitar climax so emotional, so technically locked in, it could stand toe-to-toe with anything Skinner put out. Huey Thomason and Billy Jones trade licks in a kind of southern rock ballet, layering solo upon solo until the whole thing burst into flames. What makes it underrated? It wasn't a radio hit and it was overshadowed by Freebird, but live versions stretch well beyond 10 minutes, with the guitarists feeding off the crowd and each other. The studio version is impressive, but the true magic happens in concert, where the emotional weight and musical complexity hit like a freight train. If you've never heard it, do yourself a favor. This one earns its place among rock's most stirring twin guitar moments. Number 8. Time Waits for No One, The Rolling Stones. This track is buried deep in the Stones' catalog, but listen closely and you'll find Mick Taylor at his absolute finest. Time Waits for No One is more ballad than banger, which might explain why it's often overlooked. But Taylor's guitar solo, lyrical, fluid, and almost meditative, makes the song transcend its mellow vibe. It's more like a voice than an instrument. telling its own version of the story. The solo feels like a sunset, warm, slow, and inevitably fading, which perfectly suits the song's theme. The Stones never played it live, and Taylor would leave the band not long after. That gives this performance a sort of finality, a farewell from a guitarist whose touch added so much depth to the Stones' early 70s sound. If you think the Stones are all riffs and swagger, this track will change your mind. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. Number 7, Lavilla Estrangiato, Rush. If you thought Rush was all about Neil Peart's drumming or Geddy Lee's bass lines, think again. Lavilla Estrangiato is Alex Lifeson's 9-minute manifesto, an instrumental journey where he guides the listener through jazz, rock, and straight-up shredding. Starting with moody arpeggios and building into a storm of sound, this track proves that Lifeson deserves a seat at the table with Page, Clapton, and Gilmour. Why is it underrated? Maybe because there are no vocals. Maybe because it's too long for radio. But in Rush circles, it's revered. Live versions from 1979 and 1981 show Lifeson locked in, unleashing solos with both precision and abandon. It's music for musicians, sure, but also for anyone who wants to be taken on a ride. This isn't just a guitar solo, it's an adventure. If you've only scratched the surface of Rush, this is the rabbit hole worth falling into. Number 6, Watermelon and Easter Hay, Frank Zappa. Forget the comedy, forget the complex time signatures. Watermelon and Easter Hay is where Frank Zappa let his soul sing. This slow, ambient solo unfolds like a conversation between artist and audience, introspective, patient, and deeply human. Dweezil Zappa once said it's his father's greatest guitar performance, and it's hard to argue. Tucked away at the end of Joe's Garage, the song wasn't built for radio or fame, but it's found a second life among fans who cherish its minimalism and emotion. No effects, no wild tempo changes, just clean, beautiful tone and one of the most melodic solos ever laid to tape. Zappa was often labeled as too weird for mainstream audiences, but this track proves he could strip it all back and hit you right in the gut. It's a love letter in guitar form. You don't listen to it, you feel it. Number 5, Lonely is the Word, Black Sabbath. Tony Iommi's known for riffs. He basically invented heavy metal. But on Lonely is the Word, he shows his emotional range as a lead guitarist. The song, From Heaven and Hell, closes the album with a slow, bluesy vibe, and then the solo hits, and it's stunning. Long, expressive, and laced with sorrow, it's unlike anything Sabbath had done before. Iommi trades distortion for dynamics, delivering one of his longest solos, meandering and heartfelt. It's easy to miss this gem if you're only tuned into the band's louder anthems. They rarely played it live, which adds to its mythical status. But fans in the know consider this a showcase of Iommi's versatility and soul. When you hear that solo, you realize Tony wasn't just a riff machine, he was a complete guitarist. And this track, it's his quiet masterpiece. Number 4, Estranged, Guns N' Roses. Everyone talks about November Rain, but if you really want to hear Slash at his peak, it's on Estranged. Clocking in at over 9 minutes, the song's final guitar solo is a study in emotional buildup. Slash doesn't go for speed, he goes for soul. Every bend and phrase hits with purpose. The song's structure gives the solo space to breathe. It's not a break, it's a conclusion. A moment of resolution in a song about confusion and heartbreak. Live performances capture Slash with eyes closed, top hat low, fingers dancing across the fretboard like he's trying to say something words never could. It wasn't a massive radio hit, but among hardcore Guns N' Roses fans, this is the solo. It's Slash at his most vulnerable and, ironically, most powerful. If Sweet Child O' Mine made him a star, Estranged proved he was an artist. Number 3, Rock Bottom, UFO. This is the definition of a hidden gem. Rock Bottom might not have been a household name, but for guitarists, it's sacred. Especially the live version from Strangers in the Night, where Michael Schenker unleashes a 5-minute coda that starts smooth and builds into a frenzy. Kirk Hammett of Metallica has praised the solo, saying it ramps up the emotion and ends in a place of pure magic. It's a solo that tells a story, from controlled melody to full-on explosion. UFO didn't break through like their peers, but Schenker's guitar work has influenced countless players. Why doesn't it get more love? Maybe because UFO wasn't big in the US charts, but that makes finding it even sweeter. This is one of those solos you play for a friend and watch their jaw drop. Don't believe us? Go watch it live. It speaks for itself. Number 2, High Hopes, Pink Floyd. Late career Pink Floyd doesn't always get the respect it deserves, but High Hopes, the closing track of The Division Bell, features one of David Gilmour's most beautiful solos, played on lap steel. It rises slowly, carried by tone and tension, until it finally soars. There's no flash, just feeling. The solo echoes the lyrics' themes of loss, growth, and looking back. It's Gilmour at his most introspective. It may not be as iconic as Comfortably Numb, but some fans argue it's even more moving. It wasn't built for radio, but it was built to last. If you've dismissed Post-Waters Floyd, give this another listen. It's the sound of closure, and it's hauntingly gorgeous. Number 1. Telegraph Road, Dire Straits. This is the one, the mountaintop. Telegraph Road is a 14-minute epic that slowly builds towards a climax, and when it hits, Mark Knopfler delivers his magnus opus. The solo doesn't flash, it unfolds. It's a masterclass in tension and release, full of subtle shifts in phrasing and dynamics. Why is it underrated? Because the song's too long for radio. Because Sultans of Swing got all the attention. But for those who stick with it, the payoff is huge. The live versions are even better. Knopfler stretches the solo out, exploring every melodic turn with precision. It's more than a solo, it's storytelling. By the time it ends, you feel like you've been somewhere. If you've never sat through Telegraph Road, carve out the time. It might just become your new favorite. So there you have it, 10 solos that may not make the greatest of all time lists, but they've earned a spot in the hearts of real guitar lovers. Now it's your turn. What's a guitar solo you think is criminally underrated? Drop it in the comments. We're always looking for new deep cuts to feature. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more classic rock stories every week. Until next time, keep your amp loud and your strings screaming.